The Ramly burger is a popular night market burger in the Southeast Asian region. The name Ramly comes from its founder Ramly bin Mokni, who founded the company back in 1984. While working in a supermarket, he heard a customer ask if some frozen burger patties were halal. And back in those days, it was difficult to find out if those frozen meats were indeed halal. So he decided to start his own company to answer this gap. It didn't go well at first, probably because the locals weren't used to having burgers, but once he tweaked his formula to suit the local taste, well, the rest is history. Now Ramly is a well-known name throughout the region. Ironically, the Ramly frozen patty is not why it's so famous. I've had it in Malaysia and it's honestly a really mediocre frozen piece of meat. The reason why it's so good is because of its cooking style. It starts off with grilling the frozen patty. I'm not using Ramly's today because it's actually banned in Singapore. You can find their fish burgers but not their beef burgers because one of the sources of Ramly's beef is not approved by local authorities. So instead, I'm using a random frozen patty I found in my supermarket. We first melt some margarine, not butter, on the stove. Margarine is basically butter made out of vegetable oil and it's objectively worse than butter. It's high in trans fat, it does not taste as good as butter, but for the authenticity of this recipe, I'm using it. Then we sear our frozen patties until they have a nice color, and here I'll share one of the secrets to a good Ramly burger. And that is to sprinkle some seasoning on the patty. I remember when I was younger, every time I see a street vendor do this, right, I'll be very impressed because it looks so special and different from the others. Here I'm using chili powder, white pepper, and one key ingredient, Maggi seasoning. It's basically like a soya sauce with caramel and flavor enhancers like sodium inosine and sodium guanylate. Yum! Also adding a bunch of Lee and Perry or Worcestershire sauce here. After the patties are done, we toast our buns with some margarine as well, and of course we have to go with the cheap Wonder bread for authenticity. And now for another secret to a good Ramly burger, you have to, and I mean you have to, action more than badminton. Move your buns and patties around even though there is absolutely no need to. Hit your utensils on the griddle. I'm not kidding. The Ramly burger is traditionally sold at night markets where these burgers are cooked live, so these antics are part of the experience. And now we have reached the most difficult part of the burger, the egg. Make sure you have a non-stick surface to cook on, if not this will not work. I don't have a flat non-stick, so I'll be using my carbon steel wok here. So first you want to melt some margarine on medium heat, spread them around nicely and then crack your eggs in. Now control the flame as you deem fit. You want it to be just hot enough for you to paint your eggs as much or as white as you can. If it's too hot, the eggs will cook through too quickly and you won't be able to move your eggs. If it's not hot enough, the eggs will not spread and cook when it's painted. So keep working until you have something like this. Then your patty goes onto the egg like so, also using this opportunity to heat up. And then we drizzle on the sauces. The traditional sauces are black pepper sauce, chili sauce and mayonnaise. I even transferred my sauces to a piping bag here because the zigzag action is really iconic of the Ramly burger. Fold the egg on itself, top it on your toasted buns, and then we are done. Can see that my egg is much thicker than traditional Ramly burgers. I would have really liked to have a flat cooking surface to do this, and even a burger masher, but we work with what we have. Now to give this a taste. I have to say, between the egg and the cheap bread, it looks really like a Ramly burger. Okay, let's try. It doesn't get any more authentic than this, I think. From the planta margarine, to the combination of sauces, to a cheap frozen patty, to the Maggi seasoning. The only thing that is not authentic is the thickness of the egg. This brings me back all the way to my childhood, man. And if I were to be honest, as in really honest, it's not that great. The Ramly burger brings together a lot of cheap flavors. From the seasoning in your frozen patties, to the Maggi seasoning, to the sauces. But it's exactly what it is, it's cheap flavors. You can easily make a lot of good substitutions to make the Ramly burger better. For example, you can use a smashed patty instead of a frozen patty. The flavor of the beef would be not so sugary, and the beef fat flavor will be way more intense. You can use a better bread. Wonder bread just dries up too fast. You can use butter instead of margarine, which will be 10 times more flavorful. The only thing I think is worthwhile is wrapping the patty with the egg, because you contain all the juices, all the melted butter, or rather melted margarine, and all the sauces, and also has the added benefit of keeping everything warm and let it gush out in your mouth when you bite into it. It's still enjoyable nonetheless. I'm actually having like major nostalgia now because of how authentic everything tastes. I'm glad I made it this way. So that's all I have for you guys this time. Thanks for watching.